This is a super rare iQue Game Boy Advance SP, but unfortunately, it's not working. I love buying broken, rare, and special edition consoles to see if I can fix them. This one, let's see what happens when we plug in the charger. Okay, we get a battery light, a charge indicator for just a split second, and then it goes out. Let's see if it turns on. No, it does not. All right, that gives us somewhere to start. Let's open it up and see if we can figure out what's going on. So let's start by taking the battery cover off and checking to see the condition of the battery. First of all, if it's bulged out. Second of all, what the voltage is. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a bulge there. Let's check the voltage on the battery. We get 0 volts. Now this is a battery from a Game Boy Advance SP that I know does work. So let's check the voltage here. Red probe on positive, black on negative, although they could be switched for checking voltage. 4.1 volts, so that is definitely a good battery. Let's see what happens when we try this battery. Come on. Actually, no, I don't want this to work because then it's going to be too short of a video. All right. No green light, no anything. Let's see what happens when we try and charge it. Okay, plug a charger in. Yep, same thing. Split second green light. All right. Now we can get the rest of this cover off now that we've checked that. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. It also does include this non-labeled game. So I don't know if that's working or not, but if this is an easy fix, maybe we'll have to have a look at this game too. All right, and with all those screws out, we can just lift this cover off. And pretty clean on the inside. Got some gunk buildup over here. Not too bad though. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is have a look at this fuse and see if the fuse is bad. So I'm just going to bring my meter over. It should beep if there's continuity through the fuse, and there should be. All right, showing 1 ohm on the fuse. That is fine. That means there's very little resistance, which is good. Let's have a look at the other side here. Okay, I see what looks like maybe some corrosion on this chip right here. Maybe some corrosion on the LEDs over here. So it looks like maybe there's some liquid on this at some point. Maybe a little bit over here. So let's get this under a microscope and have a look at this chip and the LEDs. And here we are zoomed in on that dark spot on this chip. So let's just check these pins. All good so far. This is where it starts getting a little sketchy. Oh, there we go. That pin is definitely a problem. That one's fine. Okay, all the rest are fine. Now, while we're here, let's have a look at F2, which is the second fuse on the board, which is right there. It doesn't look good, that's for sure. Let's check the continuity from here to here. And we get OL, which means there's no continuity from this side to this side. So we need to replace this fuse, and then we also need to repair this trace, or this pin, and maybe the trace on the board. I'm going to add some flux. Okay, I'll give that a little cleaning. And now let's test and see if we have continuity. And we do. Now we need to move on to the more difficult repair, and that is this leg right here. So what's the plan here? I'm going to add some flux, then I'm going to come in with my iron and add some fresh solder here and all along. I'm going to try and get this whole entire pin just because it seems a little weak, so if I can reinforce it with some solder, that seems like a good thing. If none of that works, then we'll take a little piece of wire and solder it here, and then solder it all as much along this pin as much as we can. So first, let's flux it up. There we go. Now I'm going to try my small iron first because that's much easier to work with on these little tiny pins. Solder's not really sticking that well. It's actually almost starting to, I think. I'm gonna bring in my larger iron so I can get more heat on this joint. Let's see if we can get this to stick. That pad is just so oxidized that it just might not work. Yeah, that is not liking it. Okay, I'm gonna come in with my tiny dental pick and just try and scrape some of the oxidation away. I don't like bending the pins like I just did. That's not the best idea, because that can easily break them. Not that that's the end of the world, but it'd make this repair much more difficult. That pad is just so oxidized, it doesn't want any of the solder to stick. Okay, that is getting there though. That's looking so much better. Now, if we can move this pin back without totally breaking it off, that would be a good thing. Oh, actually, I was thinking maybe it was soldered on, but I don't actually think it is. Let's try with our X-Acto knife. It does not want to move over. There's probably so much solder there now. Okay, so I'm going to try and heat it while we try and move it. That pin does not want to move. Okay, new plan. Since we have that solder sticking nicely, let's remove a bunch of it, since I know it'll stick when I put it back, and then move the pin, and then resolder. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go. I think we might have already got it. Now, can we get that pin back over there? Come on. It wants to. It's right there. Just doesn't want to bad enough. Come on. Don't want to use a lot of force here. Oh, oh. I almost got something working. Come on. Okay. Man, that is not very good looking. I think because I think it must be stuck to some solder down there actually, which is bad and good. Good because hopefully it'll actually stick now. I feel like it's almost there, but it's just not quite taking how I want it to. So in that case, I'll use my larger iron. Come in here with that. Get a little more heat on the joint, hopefully. Okay, I think we might have got it. That is not pretty, but it's good and solid and it's not going anywhere. All right, we got F2 fixed. We've got all of these joints fixed. I'm just gonna make sure those are soldered nice and tight, and they are. And yep, that looks good. Okay, I'm just gonna clean this chip up, and then we're gonna get this thing back together and see if that's all it took to fix this Game Boy Advance SP. Before we do this whole assembly, let's put this battery in here and just see if this thing turns on and if the screen works. I don't know that the screen on this works, so I do want to make sure of that. Oh, gotta get this battery hooked up correctly. There we go. Okay, it's good it turns on. Ah, bummer. That screen is a problem. All right, I got to see what I have in my parts bin. Some of you may be wondering why it's branded as iQue instead of Nintendo, and the answer to that is iQue is kind of like Nintendo's subsidiary that operates in China or operated in China. They actually still do operate in China, but they don't make gaming hardware. So this is not a knockoff, it's a genuine Nintendo product. This specific model is an AGS101, so that's just another reason that I'd really love to see this working. As of September of 2023 when I made this video, these go for around $100 to $150 on eBay. This one definitely has a lot of scratches, so I don't know if it's worth quite that much, but it should be worth somewhere around there. So this is my replacement screen, and this is the one that's coming out of it. I think this screen protector is in better condition than this one. I don't have a new one, unfortunately, so I'm gonna swap this one onto here. There we go. Come on, there we go. Now I just need to line this up. Hopefully get it just right. Ah, it's stuck before I wanted it to. I'm gonna have to get my head in the way here to make sure this is sticking on here how we need. Nice and square. I think that's good. Now let's give it a cleaning. Just gonna use some isopropyl alcohol and a cotton bud, Q-tip, whatever you want to call it. Okay, not perfect, but pretty good, and that's gonna be as good as we can get it. So now this is gonna go on here like that. And then the ribbon cable just goes right through there like that. And now we can put the hinge pins in. Now the buttons and the board. And battery. Whoa, we gotta turn it off. Now I'm not gonna use this yet. I gotta see if this will charge up. It probably won't, but I have to check that at some point. I'm not gonna use it right now because I wanna test this and make sure it works. And then once we do that, then I'll put that one in and see if I can get it to charge. Okay, it is all done. Let's see if it'll turn on and how that screen looks. I mean, it looks pretty good just sitting here, but will it turn on? Yep, and the screen looks amazing. Backlight works great. Let's test and see if this game that came with it works. I'm not going to be able to fix it in today's video if it doesn't, but maybe in a future video at some point. All right, here we go. Let's see if the game works. Nintendo logo, that's good. Okay, good so far. Lego. Okay. Lego Bionicle. All right, and it looks like the game does work. So this rare iQue Game Boy Advance SP is all working. If you want to see a video where I fix another rare device, a PlayStation 4 Pro 500 million edition, I'll put that link up on your screen now, so you can come hang out with me over there and see if I was able to fix it. Thanks so much for watching today, and I hope you have a good one.